Thanks to everyone who watched the installation video of this, the SAJ HS3. There were loads of questions, so I'm going to run through them now. Many of the questions can be answered by referring you to the datasheet, so I will link that below so you can check that out for yourself. First of all, quite a few questions about cost. And of course, these sort of devices are not really sold through retail distribution directly to consumers. So you will need to refer to wholesalers and distributors. It looks like Solon are the UK wholesaler and distributor in this case. So if you want to speak to them, then you can probably get an idea of pricing. But these sorts of devices are always bought through your electrician, through your installer. This particular system, it seems to be very competitively priced compared to some of the alternatives. Got a question about the modules not lining up, and maybe that's a bit of a trick of the camera, but to my eye, they look fine. You asked about application to DNO, and yes, this would need G99 because this is a 5 kilowatt inverter. Are these adverts or sponsored videos? So SAJ have not paid me to produce these videos, but you will see in the top left hand corner of all of my videos, there will be a little box which is a disclosure that I've received a product in exchange for making a video, and that is the standard YouTube policy that I always adhere to. A couple of people worried about flood risk and the fact that these things are floor mounted instead of wall mounted. That may well be a concern. If you're worried about that in your area and you're susceptible to flooding, then of course you can just build a raised base. It's as simple as that. You can build the concrete up or whatever sort of base or pad you want to whatever level you need. And if you need 2 feet of snow clearance, then you build a base up to that level. It's not a design flaw in the product. Several questions about the brand itself. I think really you can cover that easily by having a look on their website. They're not a new brand, they're not a quick upstart. SAJ is very well established and a very long running company. Thanks for the reminder on the MOT on my motorbike. Yes, I am desperate to get that out. Question on Payback is a question of how long is a piece of string. It depends on how many battery modules you go for, how many solar panels it's connected to, the orientation of your system, if you have any shading, what sort of tariffs are available to you, can you be paid for export, and ultimately how much you pay for all of those things. Oh, and how much you can self-consume in your own house consumption. There's so much that goes into those calculations. And as a rule of thumb, I think if you're well optimizing and well designing a system, then it should really pay for itself in 5 years. A good system. So hope that gives you a rough idea. This comment says I should have used the template. Yes, I know. This was a good one. How do we get the car down this narrow alleyway to connect it to a charger? The charge lead is more than 1 meter long. A few questions about this little canopy here. I bought it on Amazon. I'll post the link below. I want to say it was like £30 for 2 meter section. And I bought a few of these to kind of run the whole length of the house. And very simple to fix, and yeah, served its purpose well. It's actually dry storing things down the side of the house now. Okay, loads of comments from you about this EV module. Now, a few people are asking, is this an AC or a DC module? Now, those of you who will be familiar with the EVs will know that that plug there is just the Type 2 socket. It's just an AC socket. There's no DC that goes through those. So that should answer it just by visual looks, but you wanted a bit more detail. This is a 7.4 kilowatt AC charger, just your standard single phase EV charger that most people are familiar with. Is it bi-directional was the other question. No. So there's no vehicle to grid, no vehicle to home here. This is just a one-way charger. It's just a way to have it all in one, as I said, with just one cable being installed. One stack, one cable, one CT clamp, one bit of simplification for an installer. And not just saving money in terms of hardware, isolators and consumer units, RCBOs, all that sort of stuff, but it's the cost reduction in the labour needed by an electrician to install a system like this. More people, look in the top left hand corner of every video at the start. That's your disclosure. More about EV charging. Yes, a few people saying it's a bit annoying that you can only have the EV charging port on one end. I mean, it doesn't make a difference because you can just get a charging cable that's however long you need and you can hook it up wherever it needs to go. You can put a 10-meter cable on this, no problem at all. And then you could have a holster right by the car. But yeah, it would be great if there was a socket and a port on the other end of this device as well, I guess. There's always room for improvement. A few people who were worried about theft and they were worried about a gate behind me. That is a solid fence. We removed it for installation and then it's been remounted, but I don't have any worries about theft. Is this replacing my other home inverter system? Not currently, no. I'm running them side by side for testing purposes, and you're going to see more of that in a coming video. There are quite a few comments talking about the integration with my previous system, so we will definitely dive more in depth in a future video, because the third part in this sort of mini series will be really reflecting on my real world usage, and it has been fully installed and up and running now for 6 weeks or so. I've collected a lot of data. The PV input from my shed roof is doing fantastically well. Oh, whilst we're talking about PV, startup voltage. Yes, startup voltage is 100 volts on this, and the PV voltage range on it is 90 up to 600 volts. But perhaps even more interesting than the voltage range is the PV, the DC input current is up to 20 amps, and that's not the short circuit current, that is the working current, which is stronger than most inverters, especially if you're looking at a 5 kilowatt or a 3.68 kilowatt inverter. That really helps us accommodate all of these new large format solar panels that are pushing now well beyond what we were used to of 400 watts, but we're now getting 500, 525 and beyond that. Higher efficiency panels, more power, more wattage, more current. So someone asked about the efficiency of it, because these are high voltage battery packs. So instead of the kind of 50 volts that we're used to with those kind of lower voltage systems, so these battery modules are nearly 10 times, and these sit at about 450 volts DC. So it's less losses all throughout the system, less of it wasted as heat. How many battery modules can you have per inverter? Well, it's currently 8, and these are 5 kilowatt hour battery modules, so it could be 40 kilowatt hours of battery storage for a 5 kilowatt inverter. That's quite a healthy ratio. We've got someone who wanted the exact measurements. So you are looking at 170 millimeters deep. It is 695 millimeters wide, and this stack with 2 battery modules, the EV charger and the inverter, is 1,350 millimeters tall. This whole system is IP65 rated. Of course, I've put it under shelter just as belts and braces. This also has an operating temperature range down to -30 degrees. So yes, those batteries will be heated when necessary to keep them charging and discharging efficiently. Is there fire suppression? Yes, that's a tick. The battery PCS, that stands for power conversion system, allows you to have DC to DC optimization. That means you can mix and match new and old battery packs within a stack, and you'll still be able to get the full power from a new stack, for example. So if you've got an old battery pack that has some sort of degradation or something, and you put a new one in there, the new one won't be capped at the older unit. You can mix and match those. Oh, this one was an important one. On single phase, this is available 3 kilowatts up to 6 kilowatts. I've got the 5 kilowatt inverter here. And as I showed you last time, 2 MPPTs across the whole range. Now, I mentioned before about their claim of 5, 6 in one, a 6-in-1 stack. Now, what is all of that? Say, solar inverter, an EV charger, the battery PCS, the power conversion system, the the battery packs themselves, that's 4. Then we've got the EPS, the emergency power system, so for backup power in case of a blackout. And then finally, we have the home energy management system. And I showed you a little bit of the e-manager last time. And so all of those, that's your 6 in 1, all integrated and neatly packaged together. A little bit of a different video today, but I hope that helps answer your questions. If not, leave them below and we'll try to get them all addressed for you. What's coming up in the future? Well, I want to show you how that app works, how I'm utilizing it, my real experience, the real generation and the real efficiency of the system. That's been something that actually has surprised me a little bit, because I thought this sort of system would just be marginal gains over what I have with my existing low voltage system. This actually might convince me to update my main system and move to something newer with a high voltage integrated system like this. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.